Welcome to Matter Financial and Geopolitical from a Frontier. Thank you for stopping by. I apologise for my absence on Friday, but I'll touch on that momentarily. It was, of course, Father's Day, and I like this photograph that Martina Stevis posted. Happy Father's Day. Picture taken by Yanis Berakis of a refugee father and his toddler. Captures everything via Reuters. Powerful photograph, I thought. Macro thoughts dollar positioning has slumped as the dollar has fallen. Well, this is from Holger, worth making a note of that. The Macron rally, again Holger, this is the tightening French-Germany spread, which is a reflection of perceived French risk, which has sharply slumped. And I wrote about this on the 12th of June when I spoke about the arrival of the geopolitical wizard Emmanuel Macron on the world stage, and I described it as a tectonic political shift in France. Business is tweeting a year-old party won France's parliament, and that's tectonic as far as I can see. Home thoughts, nothing behind me, everything ahead of me, as is ever on the road. That's, of course, Jack Kerouac. But we were in the Samburu, and this is a photograph of Hannah sitting in the front with the Saruni's Le Paillon. My piece over the weekend touched on this trip, a trip to Samburu, and how everything is being Ubered. Hannah, my 10-year-old, and I had been yearning to get out of town, see the Milky Way, go somewhere where there was a road and we would not know what we were going to find around the corner. And what I found is that those sorts of journeys always start at Wilson Airport. I had wanted to go to the north into Laikipia, and we decided to go to the Samburu. I've been thinking about global warming, and in many respects, and a little counterintuitively, the Horn of Africa has become a sort of epicenter of global warming, imperiling 19 million pastoralists in the East African region. I met Mrs. Douglas Hamilton on the flight, and she said Cookie Gulman was recovering. I've been reading Aidan Hartley's articles in The Spectator, where he spoke of prowling the nights, waiting to hear warnings that his fence had been breached. And I'd read that livestock in Kenya had surged more than 60% in 6 years. Our population is expected to top 80 million by 2050. The knee-jerk reaction of any trader would be to think, how do I short this thing? I've recently read that the opposition leader had said the following to the Times of London: these ranches are too big and the people don't even live there, he said. They live in Europe and only come once in a while. And I do believe once you start degrading titles anywhere, all titles get degraded very quickly, and therefore that is a slippery slope. It was a beautiful experience at Saruni, which sits in the Kalama Conservancy. As I interacted with our Samburu driver, Le Paillon, a Maasai who was in charge of the front office, and various other folks who came from the smaller tribes, I asked about the drought and was probing as to how everyone was going to adjust. One fellow said, we're sending our kids to school now. They would have previously been looking after the livestock. Another fellow said, when I get a day off, I go back to my village and tell them about global warming. I asked Johan, how old is this landscape? And he said, look, it's really ancient. The Rift Valley Formation is just like yesterday in comparison. And I thought to myself, we're all getting Ubered, whether we are in Nairobi or right at the frontier, like the now parched Iwaso-Nyiro River. And we all need to work out strategies so that we don't end up like Kodak. This is a photograph of some flowers on the way to the Saruni camp in the Samburu. Then a photograph of some elephants crossing the now parched Iwaso-Nyiro River. I came across a superb article in The Economist in praise of pachyderms. conserve elephants. They hold a scientific mirror up to humans. According to George Wittenmeyer of Save the Elephants, a Kenyan research and conservation charity, an average elephant living in and around Samburu National Reserve in northern Kenya ranges over 1,500 square kilometers during the course of a year and may travel as much as 60 kilometers a day. They can use novel objects as tools to obtain out-of-reach food without trial and error beforehand. This is a trick some other species, such as great apes, can manage, but which most animals find impossible. Have a look at this. This is Martha, the one-tusked matriarch in the Samburu. Here's a photograph of the sunset in the Samburu. On our first day, on our first trip, we came across this male lion who crossed from Laikipia with his brothers and had hooked up with the lioness who was indigenous to the Samburu, and really was a tremendous visit and plenty of food for thought. Political reflections. Vice President Mike Pence will be president if Trump fires Mueller, says George W. Bush's ethics lawyer. Quite correct. This is a cartoon from Gaddo Trump Kitchen Cabinet. Global Trends, which is a report, a statistical assessment of refugees, asylum seekers, and people forcibly displaced from their homes, reflected a worsening of conflict, mayhem, and persecution. New total of 65.6 million people displaced from their homes is 300,000 higher than the 2015 number, which had been the highest since World War II. Of the 65.6 million displaced people in the world, 10.3 million had become displaced in 2016. This equates to one person becoming displaced every 3 seconds, less than the time it takes to read this sentence. Overnight, a Finsbury Park crash in London. The vehicle struck people coming out of the mosque, several casualties, one arrested. Take you back to January 2015 when I was writing about how Europe was off balance, and I spoke about the arrival of the asymmetric threat on the streets of Paris was deeply unsettling and will surely keep Europe off balance and presages a new normal, and I think this applies to Britain. The Queen made it to the Grenfell Tower survivors, unlike Prime Minister May, who didn't meet with them, citing security reasons. For that very reason is why I wrote last Friday, I am a big fan of the Queen. I think she is quite remarkable and delivers a monster ROI for UK Inc. and it's seen in that visit. I attended the Queen's birthday party in Nairobi, and this was band playing God Save the Queen. A US warplane has shot down a Syrian army jet on Sunday in the southern Raqqa countryside, with Washington saying the jet had dropped bombs near US-backed forces, and Damascus saying the plane was downed while flying a mission against Islamic State militants. The flagrant attack was an attempt to undermine the efforts of the army as the only effective force capable with its allies in fighting terrorism across its territory. The Syrian army said, took me back to a Westminster School question I was faced with, when I was applying for entry, and it said, might is right, discuss. International markets, let's go and take a look at currency markets. Euro, dollar 111.88, dollar index 97.17, Japanese yen 111.17, Swiss franc 0.9738, the pound 127.75, the Australian dollar, which has been on a big roll, 0.7611, India rupee is at 64.355. South Korean won 1131.31. The Rial 329.09. The Egyptian pound 1814.15, and the Rand 1280.91. Put up a 3-month chart of the euro dollar, and I think we're retracing, but we're girding our loins for a move to 114.50. In one fell swoop, Jeff Bezos has bought his way into the supermarket business. This is Whole Foods acquisition. You will recall that my target price for crude oil was $32, and I set that on the 8th of May. Oil has posted its longest run of weekly losses since 2015. It's now trading at $44.70. I called it a Wizard of Oz moment. There is no one behind the curtain, and I said then that this market is primed to crash. Some Saudi officials believe Saudi Aramco's public offering could break records by valuing it at $2 trillion, although the FT has put the figure at between 880 billion and 1.1 trillion. I would have thought current circumstances indicate Aramco would bomb. I like this photograph of a drilling rig operated by the Arabian-American Oil Company in 1955 via Getty. Gold, as I said before, is at 1251, got repelled at 1300 levels or close to, come back to this area of 1250. Let's move on to Africa. Kofi Annan has warned that the future of the DR Congo is in grave danger. Kofi and 9 former African presidents have warned that the future of the Democratic Republic of Congo is in grave danger because of President Kabila's apparent determination to cling to power. In rare public criticism of an African leader, Mr. Annan said in a statement they felt obliged to sound the alarm before it's too late to address what has become an acute political crisis in the sprawling, resource-rich country. Kabila should have stepped down last December at the end of his constitutional mandate, but he refused because no election had been held to choose a successor, and the courts ruled he could remain in office. One Kinshasa-based diplomat said the uncertainty was likely to last until Mr. Kabila decides whether he makes a big play to stay in power. Is he going to try and change the constitution and rule through a state of emergency, or is he going to sort his way into finding a loyal successor, he said. I'm not sure even he's decided, and the clock is ticking. He remains in the box seat, but the Congo is cratering. Rwanda is to fund 99% of its poll budget, according to Urban TV Uganda, like the photograph of President Kagame. South African oil shares up 0.35% in 2017, but at lows not seen since early January. Dollar Rand, I'll put up a 6-month chart, all very much in this range of 1260 to 1320. Let's see how we'll continue to operate in here. Egyptian pound, 18.1415, that's found, I think, its footing. Nigeria, all share up 25.81%. This year, and has closed at 2-year highs. And then have a look at this from Charlie Bilello about the Nigeria ETF, which is up 35% from the May 8th low, but the all shares higher actually of that same period. Ghana Stock Exchange up 14.51% year to date. More than 400 people invade Acacia Mining's North Mara gold mine in Tarime, demanding a fair share of resource payments for their land. Things are getting very ugly in this matter. Gunmen attack and seize hostages at a luxury resort in Mali. Coming to Kenya, both sides communicate that the elections have already been won. The head of the Konrad Adenauer Foundation in Kenya, Jan Kaniki, said it was very likely that whoever loses this year's election will head to the streets to challenge the outcome. Both sides communicate that the elections have already been won. If someone loses, it will be the Electoral Commission or the law courts, but not the one who received fewer votes. Société Générale and Mauritius-based SBM Holdings are the front-runners to acquire troubled Chase Bank and its subsidiary Rafiki Microfinance. Nairobi All Shares up 15.55% so far this year. East African Breweries up 4.918% this year, closing at 2017 high. Kengen up 48.275% this year at a 2017 high. Kenya Airways rebounded Thursday and Friday, but still down 2.63% year to date. Crown Paints could become the first company in the country to buy back its own shares at the Nairobi Securities Exchange. They're looking to buy back 10,677,150 ordinary shares, representing up to 15% of the company's current issued share capital. On a PE basis, it's quite an expensive share. Crown Paints is up 35.714% this year. NSE 20, that's up 11.15% this year, an 11-month closing high. An interesting piece in The Guardian by Tristan McConnell. She longs for Ol Ari Nero, the place of dark springs, an 88,000-acre nature reserve in Kenya's Central Highlands. She dismisses talk of banditry, the government's preferred term for the attacks, and of desperate drought-stricken pastoralists seeking pasture. Another common framing of the issue: the people who attacked me, they were militia. She says firmly, prior to every election, I've seen that there's been a similar build-up of violence, but she has never been shot before. In Ol Ari Nero on the western edge of Laikipia, they found their imagined Africa. In her best-selling memoir, I Dreamed of Africa, Galman describes the uncanny feeling of déjà vu, as if I'd already been there, from the extravagantly folded ridges of the ranch's highlands. Africa was there below us all in its unsolved mystery. Take a look at these two photographs. A Maasai warrior gazing towards Mount Kenya across the Laikipia plain. That photograph is by John Warburton Lee of Getty. And this New Horizon, a view of sunrise over Mount Kenya in the Laikipia Valley. That photograph is taken by Alami. Once again, thank you for stopping by.